And now for the part of every move that every comic book collector fears. Moving the collection. Mostly it's just I've done this move a few times now. I've never lost anything, never broken anything, but there's always a first. So that's why I'm moving them now, pretty much separate from everything else. And a little fun fact that no one ever realizes, the old Kirkland baby white boxes were the perfect size for comics. And before I get made fun of and roasted, these are actually some pretty valuable ones that aren't in a secured box. So they're up here with me buckled in. Yeehaw. I initially intended on doing my comic books to the storage unit first, but with Tucson Comic Con coming up, and now past, I can do it, but when it was coming up, I want to make sure I have my stuff available just in case I wanted to trade, sell, barter, or whatever. But also, if there was artists appearing that I had some of their works, I always like to get my stuff signed. Which is actually has kind of hurt me in the past, or hurt me presently, because now that there's some books I want to move on from, or maybe it's not just something that fits in with my collection anymore. When you have them signed and uncertified, like unwitnessed, it basically devalues them and people don't want to take the risk on them. In fact, I have a great copy of Spider-Man #1 Silver that I got signed by Todd McFarlane years ago. And it's one of those, we live in Arizona where Todd lives. I went to so many Todd McFarlane sightings throughout the years. I have a lot of stuff signed by him. But I never took a picture or witness because I was just living in the moment, which I still do. And I still recommend that more than anything. So I live in the moment. I have a conversation with my favorite writers, creators, inkers, colorists, and get stuff signed by them to commemorate the moment. And that's something I've always made the argument for in the past, is that my comic book collection is not something I ever did for monetary gain or to sell one day. I mean, I occasionally sell a book here and there, and that's just because I'm using that to help continue the hobby. That money usually gets turned around right back into another book or part of a trade for a book or something along those lines. So it never really mattered to me to get them certified or graded. But now that I'm getting older and I'm realizing my collection is going to be my kids' collection one day, and there's a good chance they're not going to be into it like I am. So I'm starting to get stuff graded through CBCS because they can verify signatures on witness because they work with Beckett Authentication. So I'm getting a lot of those older books now signed, but it's like $60 a pop. And I'm only doing it to the ones I know will have monetary value in the future of some sort. Oh, on to the storage unit. You know, the really sad part is I've already taken like half my collection to the storage unit. You know, if there's one thing this whole experience has shown me, I am definitely not as young as I used to be. I'm tired, and that was just one little trip. I remember one time I literally moved everything in one day. Now, as soon as I move like a handful of boxes, I'm done. Because I'm telling you, this moving thing is not fun. I really hope this is our forever home. But that's not the point of this video. Let's talk about what this video is actually about. And I guess there's no time to get started than sitting on a train for like 10 minutes, so let's go. There's something I learned this past week at Tucson Comic Con and the time I was there, is I'm definitely not the Tommy I used to be. You know, I was the guy that would go all weekend, barely eat, barely drink any water, anything, just to go comic booking. I was there for maybe a total of 3.5 hours all weekend, and I'm exhausted. And I realize now as we get older, things change, and I feel that we need to grow with it. And it kind of helped me realize why I started doing this channel. This channel was simply to have that artistic outlet that I haven't had since I stopped writing comics, although I am writing comics again. But like anything, we have to evolve, right? So I went from doing the podcast, creating comic books, to now YouTubing. I love doing it, and I love doing all three. I would like to do all three in some scope again, okay? But don't be afraid of change. That's what this one's getting at. I was a guy that never intended on getting married. I believed in the Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell interpretation of marriage. I'm with someone that I love, and I get to come home every day because I choose to, not because I'm legally obligated. Then I met the right person and realized, hey, I do want to get married. So now here we are at this, precipice, this crossroads of life. We're moving to the other side of town. I'm in a new position at work. There's a lot of stuff going on, and now's the time we have to choose. Do we evolve with it, or do we hold on and grasp to the past? There you go. That's the unmade Back to the Future 4th movie, Grasp of the Past. I don't know. It's just these things have been crossing my mind lately, especially as we get older. Like once upon a time, I was the guy at every show I'd go to. I'd pick up every indie book I'd find. I'd make sure I sit there and talk to every indie artist. And I would you know, I was the guy that had the pull box, you know, 10 books a week, 11 books a week, and I'd read everything. I honestly could not sit and tell you the last time I just read a comic book for the sake of reading. And it's not for a lack of love or lack of passion for it anymore, but it's just for a lack of time. Like, I love writing, and I just recently started writing again. So that makes me think, you know, after I finish these next books, are they going to be my last? Or do I want to keep this going? Writing the books, I mean. Not just reading them. I mean, writing and creating with Silly Monkey Comics. And also with that, you know, what else do I want to focus on as far as my next artistic step? I think I do want to change up the channel a bit in as much as how we do it and when we do it and how often we do it. Because I find myself being prisoner to this self-imposed schedule that I created. And I will literally have anxiety attacks if I don't think I'm going to get a video posted in time. That's why I shoot 3 to 4 videos on a day off and get them all edited the same day. My little moving buddy. I'm glad he likes to help sometimes. Hey Charlie, thanks for being my moving muscle. You've been really helpful. You got your tape measure?
Yeah.
You got your tools? And what I really mean by evolving is I'm really hoping that once we get this all done, because right now I'm tired, guys. I'm pretty much moving both houses completely by myself. So it's been a long, interesting days before work, after work, and my days off so far. And technically I only have 6 more days to get this all done. And it's very tiring, I'm very burned out, but that's also part of the evolution. I know this is all a means to an end. And I'm really hoping at the new house, even though I'm losing like my creative space in the office, I'm hoping that this opens up new artistic endeavors, new spaces to do those. So I really would like to get back into the podcasting portion again. And I would like to get back into just having, you know, the new backdrop, if you will, very expensive backdrops to buying a new house, where we can create new videos from home and have home style vlogs. So it's always evolving, and we got to keep evolving in and of itself. Like earlier I mentioned how I sometimes feel like I'm a prisoner to my self-imposed schedule. Like right now as we make this, I have no videos in queue ready to upload, so this will be the next video that we have. So, I mean, realistically, could I take some time off and just worry about it later? Yeah, but I'm also afraid we'll lose the momentum, and I think this is very important that we're recording too, to show that everything that we show and produce in these type of vlogs and these type of, you know, channels, it all isn't just sunshine and fun and travel. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Right, Charlie? Mm-hmm. A lot of work behind the scenes?
Yeah.
He's obsessed with his new tape measure. My kid loves tools. But I guess in the long run, this is all going to be worth it once we get it all done. But, you know, that finish line is not really in sight just yet. Like, if this is a marathon, we're at the halfway point, and we have to stop and get some water and maybe use the bathroom. If nothing else, this has been a little bonding experience for me and Charlie. He's been my little moving buddy since day one. The main reason I like having an electric vehicle, I get to avoid this emissions tests. Because with the Tesla, you never actually have to do emissions. It's a zero emissions vehicle. In fact, when I bought it, one of the perks was you got registration for 5 years for $100. I had spent $230 on my wife's registration for 1 year and $12.25 for the actual emissions test. Another reason for electric, y'all. If you got this far in this video, I appreciate it, guys. This is more one where I'm just kind of in my own head right now. There's so much going on. My mind's working a certain way. I decided just to film as I went in this case. Leaving the storage unit again. I've been there like 6 times in the last day and a half. I'm ready for all this to be done. I can't wait to be in our new house, which I just drove by actually. It looks like they're almost completely done with it. They got all the landscaping done. It looks like it's painted. I just really hope that landscaping, that those little trees they have out front don't need a whole lot of water. This is Arizona. If it needs water and it's in my yard, that's not good. So thanks for taking another ride with us. Tune in again soon. Thanks for being my therapist. All right, guys. Tune back in. We're going to get back to our regular scheduled videos here in just a little bit. Bye, everybody.